Friends, today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the work from home scenario and how as human beings we are really going to negotiate this situation where we are no longer going to be interacting on face-to-face basis with our colleagues and having those intensely human interactions that we used to have in our offices and workplaces, especially those committee room meetings and so on and so forth. Now, when this COVID pandemic began to spread in India and people were asking how long this is going to last, is it going to be 3 weeks, is it going to be 3 months, then the things are going to be back to normal, business as usual. And I remember in one of the articles which a newspaper person wrote, I said this world even after the pandemic has been tamed and eliminated, whether it is 6 weeks, whether it is 6 months, whether it is a couple of years, the equilibrium and the trajectory is going to be different. So what my hypothesis then was, and even today remains, that we are not going to be a world that was the world in the pre-COVID scenario. There are various dimensions to it, whether we are going to be more ambitious, whether health is going to matter, whether family relationships are going to take the center stage. But in today's small talk, I'm going to be concentrating on the work from home scenario. Now, when the work from home scenario started, it was a kind of a mixed feelings. There was a sense of relief and there was a sense of being deprived of. Sense of relief in the sense you didn't have to get up early in the morning, get ready, commute, reach office, and then if you're running late, so on and so forth, wasting time in commute and reaching there in the physical office and then getting down to your work. You said, okay, you can wear a nice clean shirt, you may have not even bathed, but then you can be sitting on the computer working on your own self or working by your own self or having interactions over the Zoom, the Cisco web and so on and so forth. So there was in a way a sense of relief also. I would say there were initial hiccups and people at their residence didn't always have a very high-speed internet. They didn't have a resolution of a camera on their laptop or desktop. The UPS system may or may not have been there, but those was few things which were readily overcome, and ultimately the type of technology which you require to be working in a virtual world as a part of an organization which is not diffusely situated over the cyberspace is not really a cutting edge rocket level technology. So normal medium level type of cameras and internet speeds and Wi-Fi's were enough to allow us to work. Because obviously, while you want clarity and you really want to have the picture of the person you're talking to on Zoom, no one is really looking at a television quality, high resolution type of a thing. So those hiccups came and were overcome, and ultimately people settled down to working in a scenario from their homes, and more importantly, the interaction was on Zoom, very friendly technology, easy to use, and then of course Cisco web and so on, where the security features etc. are far more. Now, it is only after we settled down into this affair we began to realize advantages. Now, those advantages had been harped on to us a long time ago, but as they say, sweet are the uses of adversity. And it was this adversity which became a compulsion and pushed us into this reform. So you were saving time on travel. Your outstation meetings now seem virtually redundant. How could you go from Chandigarh to Delhi and Bombay and abroad to address one meeting or a conference? 3 whole working days would be lost apart from the stress of travel and so on. Beyond a certain time, travel, player, etc., it begins to wane away. So therefore, now when everyone was having a default functioning where a meeting meant a Zoom meeting, a virtual meeting, it became so much simpler for you to organize your work and cut down the absolutely unnecessary travel. The second point which emerged from the working from home scenario and the virtual meetings is that you were able to now access teachers and speakers and professional speakers from all over the world. They were available in the sense that they were not traveling. They were not busy with their face-to-face meetings in the university campuses and other organizations. But more importantly, how much time did it take for them to participate in your meeting? If it was 1 hour meeting, maybe 1 hour 15 minutes would be required by them. So it really opened up the potential of high level of human resource to participate, to discuss, to disseminate their knowledge to a much wider audience. If I'm running a state-owned training institution for the civil servants, in a physical scenario, I would be able to train 30 people, 40 people, maybe 60 people in a go. People would come from their places of work, stay. There would be last minute people who were dropping out. But now you have a Zoom meeting, and recently we had one on disaster management. And if there were 800 people who had registered, over 600 were actually online listening to the various lectures. So therefore, the spread, the reach of our courses, of our meetings, of dissemination of knowledge, that really has exploded exponentially. Just see the reach and the convenience, and at a fraction of a cost. No people coming, staying in hotels or your hostels, traveling allowance, DNS allowance, and now if it is a 5-day course, practically it would be 2 hours a day in the forenoon or the afternoon. So 10 hours a week, you would be able to pump in so much of material, and people would be either sitting in the privacy of their homes or the comfort of the offices and absorbing whatever is being bombarded at them. And another important thing, automatically everything is being recorded. So therefore, in case you missed out something, you missed out hearing something, or there was a particular lecture you could not participate, then there is always the recorded version you can fall back on. And this technology, especially if the moderator is good and is adept and is accomplished, can always allow interaction which is both ways. So therefore, in a training institution type of scenario, in brainstorming sessions, in meetings where basically one person is giving instructions, maybe a few people have their own suggestions, the virtual meetings have revealed an efficiency level which we just could not imagine, which was there in front of us. But somehow there was that civilizational inertia. I'm trying to coin a new phrase, a civilizational inertia among all of us. And we thought that this is the done thing. And people also overestimated the complexity of the Zoom meetings and so on. But now that is the default setting. Now, who are going to be the losers in this? I think the brick and mortar educational institutions, especially overpriced universities, are going to be losers in the long run. Why would I go for a semester to a brick and mortar university as Harvard and pay $50,000 as fees when the courses they offer are really available on the internet at $500 a piece? Of course, you have lectures, you have recorded lectures and so on, you have paid lectures, but I think this is a pinch which the brick and mortar universities, which had a sense of almost haughtiness attached to them, that these are the portals, these are the landmarks, these are the historical buildings and so on. I think people are going to now value you more for the education that you disseminate and the peripherals and the frills surrounding, which give you that larger than life type of image and reputation. Those are going to be devalued. So I think online teaching of skills is going to explode, and at the cost of these brick and mortar universities. On the flip side and flop side, I don't think at the end of the day man is a social animal. It is not as if in the human civilization post-COVID we are going to have only and only virtual meetings like these. I think in terms of active brainstorming, where there are 15 people in a room and they're trying to, literally slug out with divergent ideas, that type of energy and chemistry is just not going to be available on Zoom. I mean, that's my take of it. So people are still going to need that interaction. It is about network. 1 + 1 = 11. That type of interaction, not a speaker and a person raising hand, but a kind of a network, the n factorial type of a situation, that is going to be requiring the physical meetings. Otherwise, these virtual meetings may not generate the value of ideas, the valuable insights which the face-to-face physical meetings would have generated. So therefore, apart from that, there is also an empathy angle. I mean, you go to a physical meeting, you say, "Hey Bob, I hope your father is better." Say, "Yeah, much better. Thanks for asking." Those type of things, you cannot have the liberty of doing so over Zoom. So friends, what I'm trying to conclude with is this: the way we conduct our business, the way we conduct our offices has fundamentally changed. It is not going to be a totally virtual world, but a large component of it is going to be business and official business conducted over virtual mediums and meetings happening over Cisco Web and Zoom. But at the end of the day, the physical interaction is going to be a part and parcel of human interrelations, interactions, and they are here to stay, although it would be with a smaller fraction. So friends, see you soon again, and if you have any comments, please do write, like it, and if you think this video would give some value to some of your friends, please share, and also do not forget to subscribe if you'd like to look forward to further short clips on these topical issues from me in future as well. Thank you.